Hello, it is Sunday, October 24th, 2021. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Sunday puzzle, and I've just noticed today's Sunday puzzle is entitled Sports Nuts. Ominously, I would say. I hope this doesn't augur a sports-filled grid. If it does, this could be a tough one for me. So maybe let's quickly move through the various elements of preamble so we can get going. In case this is a stumper for me. So first, I did put up on, if you're a Patreon supporter, if you are a contributor to the Patreon campaign, you can now access my most recent Boss Words Fall Themeless League competition solve. And boy, it was even tougher than the previous one for me, I have to say. So it was a bit of a long solve. People do seem to enjoy it, though. They seem to get a lot out of watching me really puzzle through a more difficult crossword than the New York Times ones get. So please enjoy that if you're a Patreon supporter. I put it up there yesterday along with the most recent week of mini puzzles. All right. Link to the Patreon, as always, can be found in the description field underneath the video or by going to patreon.com/dailysolve. So there we go. Let's move on from there. Quickly, I'll mention also the new Twitter feed, which is @thedailysolve. And that has tweets every day about this series. I'm no longer doing them every day from my personal Twitter account. So go ahead and follow @thedailysolve. And let's keep going briskly on to just a couple of comments from yesterday's puzzle. There weren't actually all that many. And also, again, I'm trying to move quickly because I am worried about this whole sports nuts business. So PD Boo addresses what I found to be the most baffling answer of the puzzle, which was pie caken, which is spelled pie, cake, and then an N at the end. And PD Boo says, I think pie caken is a play on turducken, a turkey stuffed with a duck, which is itself stuffed with a chicken. This, of course, implies the cake is stuffed with a chicken, which would be strange at best, but the pun doesn't work without it. So referring to the N at the end there. And Ben Ward says, apparently it's layers of pumpkin pie, pecan pie, and spice cake all held together with cinnamon buttercream and topped with apple pie filling, originally developed by celebrity pastry chef Zach Young in 2015. It still doesn't really match the turducken format, but at least it can get the last N from pumpkin or pecan. So there we go. It's one of these sort of outrageous gimmick desserts that comes up from time to time. I thought maybe the EN at the end was some sort of German inflected plural maybe, but no, it's nothing, it seems. Okay, Remy also adds, RSVP comes from the French, répondez s'il vous plaît, literally, please respond. I thought I'd mention it because Chris's comment might have made people think it means reserve your place with the R, S, and V from reserve. Yes, that's true. I think I have actually, in past crosswords, used the full phrase, répondez s'il vous plaît, as RSVP before. And it actually did occur to me when I said reserve your place that it could appear that was some sort of bizarre corrupted acronym, but I decided not to clarify it. But Remy did. So thank you, Remy. Okay, let's move right along to today's crossword. This is a Sunday crossword entitled Sports Nuts. It has been constructed by Katie Hale and was edited, as always, by Will Shorts, and I'm very worried about what it may contain, because if you have seen this series much, you'll know that I don't have all that much sporting knowledge, and I don't know what else to say. Let's get going. Okay. One known as the Alive, the Eternal. I don't know. I mean, this sounds religious, but I don't actually know what it is. Book before Obadiah. This also sounds religious, and I don't know what this was either. Converted apartment, perhaps could be a loft. Oh, could this be Allah? That was my first guess, but it felt too speculative. I mean, this. Let's see. All right. Sorry, I'm jumping around here. So, okay, book before Obadiah with an A. Could it be Amos? And then lose sleep over could be stew over. Your ex's new date, whom you just can't stand. Off-putting. Putting, that could be putting, as in golf. Your ex's new date. Off-putting So, all right. I'm wondering if this is simultaneously a theme answer. Well, not simultaneously. If it is a theme answer, which makes it simultaneously a phrase that in a punny sort of way might mean your ex's new date whom you just can't stand, and also a sports term. I'm guessing this is going to be a golf term. Off-putting, new date. I keep thinking of terms that would be long-term partners like spouse or steady or something. But this says new date. So it would be, what would you call a new date? Off-putting, I'm sorry, I'm going to move on for now. That's life. Question after an argument has died down. Solo travel. Okay, maybe this isn't off-putting. Sorry. Okay, I think I must have been on completely the wrong track, because this says solo traveling in space, which looks like Han Solo, and the P here just looked sort of odd. Question after an argument has died down might be, are we okay? So what? Okay. And then that's life. This is Moira Arose, Catherine O'Hara's character on Schitt's Creek. That's correct. So your new date's offensive. So it could also, again, be a sports thing, as in offensive or defensive in a game. Offensive. I don't know. Sorry. Okay. Herb used in smudging rights. Sage, maybe? Does that work here? There are 24 in a cuboctahedron. Edges, presumably. And off could be a miss. Something is off, something's amiss. Crafts could be devises. You've devised a plan, you've crafted a plan. Frequent subjects of Taylor Swift songs. With this many letters and this ES here, I wonder if it could be X's maybe? A Chevron subsidiary. So Chevron is a filling station, service station brand, right? Texaco? Is that a subsidiary of Chevron? I have no idea, but that's another service station. Measures in music. Another word for a measure in music is a bar. You could say a few measures of music, a few bars of music. Word that can precede or follow pack. Think ice pack or pack ice. An ice pack. I think pack ice is sort of a geological term, maybe. And then checkout option, debit, a debit card. Actor Menzies, who won an Emmy for The Crown. Tobias Menzies. I don't remember who he was in The Crown, but I remember that name. Yeah, Prince Philip, maybe? I can't remember. Okay, offensive rebound. I don't know I can sort of guess what that would mean in sports, but I'm not familiar with the phrase, but it sort of sounds reasonable, maybe a basketball thing. And then your ex's new date, whom you just can't stand in dating when you're on the rebound after a relationship has collapsed and you really find that person offensive. Okay, sure. I bet, maybe? One hell of a writer. Oh, Dante. The Divine Comedy, The Inferno, Dante's Inferno. Referencing hell, of course. And there's a question mark. And I should point out, for those who are new to the series or the crossword, that when you see a question mark like this, that indicates pun or wordplay of some kind. So in this case, one hell of a writer, this is indicating that hell doesn't have the sort of surface meaning that we would assume it to have, which is the idiomatic speech indicating a great writer. It does sort of mean that in the context of the clue, but we are also literally referring to hell. Okay. Organization featured in 2011's Contagion. That was about a pandemic. Was it the FDA? Did they approve a drug or something? I don't remember. I did see that film, but I'm not sure. Fills in. Well, fills in with an S, probably ends with an S. And when we see these parentheses, I've said this before, but again, if you're new to the series of the crossword, the parentheses mean that it's essentially a bit of a help. It means we could add in to the end of both the clue word, fills, and the answer word, which actually I think in this case is clues, surprisingly enough. We could add it to both of them and it would make the match even more appropriate. So if we just had fills, it would be pretty tough to get clues from fills. But with fills in, we could add clues in, and they both work very well. So it's just a bit of help. Oh, of course, the organization featured in 2011's Contagion is the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Okay, one way for packages to arrive in brief. COD is cash on delivery, and language in the Thai family is Lao. That looks right. Cash on delivery. I've never used cash on delivery before. That feels like something that is a kind of a relic of a bygone era, but maybe it still happens. I don't know. A theater award. I know now that Obi, from a viewer who commented on this several weeks ago, the OB stands for Off-Broadway, OB. It's a phonetic pronunciation of the letters OB for Off-Broadway, given to non-Broadway theatrical productions. Okay, make a big stink. You could raise... I wanted to say raise hell. It'd be sort of surprising to me if we got hell in here crossing hell from a clue. I don't know if that's necessarily prohibited, but it would seem sort of odd. What else could this be? Raise a fuss, but that doesn't fit. I don't know. Let's leave it for now. Actress Moreno, Rita Moreno. I think West Side Story and Sesame Street. Here we have Kegels, e.g. That's an exercise of some sort, right? This will be another sports phrase, guaranteed. Well, not guaranteed. I'm pretty sure. Wonder if any of the crosses will help at all. A melee is a fight of some sort. Could be a spat maybe, or a feud. That seems a bit too soft for melee. Abdominal procedure for short. Abdominal procedure. So I was thinking sort of sit-ups or crunches or things, but that I don't know if you'd call that a procedure. Abdominal procedure for short. Lipo, maybe? Liposuction? It says for short, and when you see for short, you know that the answer is going to be abbreviated or contracted in some way. Lipo is a sort of weight loss procedure that I think that would be the abdominal region. Let's see, does that help? Oh, poet Rainer Maria Rilke, right? And then a melee, a fray. A melee is a fray, a fight, a scuffle. That makes sense. And then here we have therapists organization, probably, I'm guessing the APA, that sounds plausible, the American Psychiatric Association or something like that. That seems like it would be what it is. Walking the dog, for instance. I remember this from when I was in primary school, and the yo-yo became an obsessive fad for maybe 1 to 2 years, and then it totally disappeared, but it was huge for that amount of time. And I remember that walking the dog was a yo-yo trick. Okay, a skincare brand looks like Olay, oil of Olay is sort of in my mind. And Kegels, could it be floor something? If this were approached. It could be something to something. You neared? I don't see what this is, actually. And then it takes a licking and keeps on ticking brand. I think this is Timex, the classic watch brand. Oh, right. So Kegels are floor exercise. How is that a sports term? Maybe that's a gymnastics thing, probably, I would bet. And then approached, drew to, and director Craven, the horror director Wes Craven. Young partner. I think this must be Ernst & Young, which is, what are they, an accountancy firm or an investment firm? I think maybe accountancy. Not 100% sure, but I recognize Ernst & Young. And so often in the crossword, you'll see partner, and it will, in this case, it may actually be literally, Ernst might be literally Young's partner. I mean, they might have been two partners who founded the business. But often in the crossword, partner means a word that goes with the other word. So a word that goes with young, in this case, Ernst. And then we have the question mark as well, which is, I suppose, just another bit of help to let us know that something cutesy's going on. It doesn't mean, as you might think, a partner who is young, which would be, the most obvious way to read this. Okay, Accord Maker. The Honda Accord is a car model. I follower. With these crosses, I wouldn't have gotten this out of the blue, but with these crosses, it could be I caramba. And then back way often. Could be a side street, side lane, side door, maybe. Back way, a side door. Well, actually, that looks bad here. Something a mover or a movie might have. A trailer. You might have a big truck trailer or a film trailer. So a back way often. A side ramp. Oldest independent state in the Arab world. Could it be Oman? And now we are sixth author. Oh, I kind of want to say this is A.A. Milne. That rings a bell. And then to crush as a test could be to ace a test. I bet this will be service. I'll be your waiter tonight. Service line? Is that a sports term? Service line? It sounds like it might be, but I don't know. But let's try it. A vaccine holder is a vial. You know what? I should actually check these crosses just to be sure. Winona of Stranger Things. It looks like Winona Ryder. Is that with a Y? Let me see. One might bend over backwards. Backward. One might bend over backward. Does that look right? Winona Ryder? I don't know. I'm actually not sure if it's an I or a Y. Let's leave it for now. Author of 29 Federalist Papers, Madison. James Madison and Alexander Hamilton principally wrote the Federalist Papers in the early United States, or I suppose in the lead up to the foundation of them. Okay, maybe. I actually don't know exactly where that falls with respect to the specifically establishment of the United States of America as a sovereign country, because it was still time until the Constitution was fully ratified. Anyway, whatever. Work is toil. Archaeologist's workplace, a dig site, I suppose. And a worker's advocate informally, probably a union. It says informally. So again, that will be some kind of abbreviated form or nickname. Oh, union rep, right. Union representative, in this case, informally a union rep. And a threesome, I was going to say trio, but that's too few letters. So a triad, perhaps. And then here we have German denials, nines, nose. And in with, amidst, maybe, or amongst, no, that doesn't fit. Maybe amidst, I'm not sure. Let's check this cross here. We have trident look-alike. So that's the Greek letters psi, which looks like the three-pronged trident. Okay, genre for Booksmart and Clueless. These are both teen films. Could be teen drama, but I don't really know that you'd call those dramas. They were more comedies. So it could be teen films, but that seems sort of odd for need to have films in the genre. Let's see. Teen movie? I mean, that also doesn't really seem great. Let's check this. Texas border city. Well, with that D right there, and actually because I was thinking movie with an O there, I was thinking D-O, which could be Laredo. And I know I just said movie doesn't seem right, but that would make Laredo fit. And then here we have a bit of French raison d'être, which means reason to be. A laugh and a half. Could be a riot. That's a real laugh and a half, I guess someone might have said in the 1950s. Who actually lives in Lapland, some say. Some say that Santa Claus lives in Lapland. Oh, and one might bend over backwards is a yogi, a practitioner of yoga. And that disambiguates this I-Y thing here. So Winona Ryder with a Y. There we go. Okay. Greek goddess associated with witchcraft. Oops, what have I done? Is that Hecate? Don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Let's check the crosses. It's just passing. Oh, I see. this would be a grade on a school exam or paper. It's just barely passing. I guess, is a D passing or is a D fail? Is C just passing? Oof, you can tell it's been a while since I was in school. I actually don't remember. Any slice of pizza geometrically. Any slice of pizza geometrically. So what is that shape called? A sort of a sector of a circle. Oh, that's funny. I just said a sector of a circle. Maybe it is the word sector. Although that doesn't look great here. This is probably wrong. Because I just saw first square of a crossword. Oops, hope that's not for me. And this kind of looks like starting place. Starting block? Maybe a starting block? Is that a thing in sports? First square of a crossword. And again, we've got a question mark here, which I think in this case is just telling us it's a little bit loose in terms of literally referring to the first square of a crossword. I mean, it's also, I think, part of what's indicating the theme, but only indirectly because the theme answers are all sort of punny. Okay. I'm going to check this starting here. Dry biscuit used as baby food. Well, this doesn't look right at all. Here we have op blank footnote abbreviation. I believe that's CIT. And then this is blank yourself, suit yourself, rusk biscuit. I've never heard of a rusk biscuit. Is that? I don't know. I hope that's correct. Here we have blank Kong. That looks like King Kong. And then first winner of the Nebula Award for Best Science Fiction Novel, 1965. That must be Dune by Frank Herbert. And stars looks like celebrities. And then here we have getting up there. Could that be in age? Getting up there. Actually, yeah, I don't quite see what that is. Oh, wait, sorry. Wait. Maybe that's not King Kong. Because getting up there in age, for instance, could be oldish. Oh, and then this I guess is just a different spelling than the one that I know. Because I had C there before and now it's a K. So what is this? Oh, Hong Kong. I'm sorry. Pretty straightforward. Don't know why that eluded me. Okay, make a big stink. Maybe it is raise hell. Okay, so I was skeptical that we would see hell in the answer to that crosses a clue whose clue, sorry. I was skeptical, I'm getting all jumbled up. I was skeptical that we would see the word hell in an answer that crosses another answer whose clue also includes the word hell. I don't really know why I was skeptical of that, but it seems like it's the answer, so that's fine. Protect could be shield. Quiet rudely. Tiff could be a spat. Oh, that's funny. I think spat was an example I used for melee, which was definitely not a very correct answer, which is why it wasn't the answer. Quiet rudely. Well, looks like it ends in it. On it. Here we have logger alternatives, could be ales, and subdued could be tame. So this would be subdued as an adjective rather than subdued as a verb. I think reading this, and I certainly read it this way at first, you see subdued and you think that's a past tense verb. Someone subdued somebody. And it might be something I'm just not thinking of. But I think it could also be subdued as an adjective. In other words, oh, that film was very subdued. That film was very tame. So let's see. Half of a legal warning could be cease, as in a cease and desist order, legal warning. A tabloid twosome could be an item. Two celebrities in a couple is often called an item. And then a kind of skirt is a hula skirt. And then here we have, oh, put a lid on it rudely. So quiet rudely. Put a lid on it. A rude way to say quiet. And then we have it's just passing is a D. Okay, that's what I thought. But I wasn't 100% certain. So here we go. If this were teen movie, genre for book smart and clueless, then this could be in with, and that could be amidst, I suppose. But let's check some of them. Things you can crack without damaging them. Doors, you could crack a door and leave it ajar without damaging the door. Here we have blank New York, Brooklyn neighborhood. East New York? I actually don't know this Brooklyn neighborhood, I don't think. Crucifix inscription initials. INRE, I-N-R-E, right? Or I? Is it I-N-R-I or I-N-R-E? Oof, sorry. Okay, so this does look like teen movie, though. And then we haven't looked at this yet. Instrument, that's a homophone of 69 down, which is a viol. So there is an early string instrument of sort of, well, I guess you wouldn't say pre-modern necessarily, but an outdated string instrument called the viol that is unsurprisingly related to the violin and the viola, but is no longer commonly used. I think it is still sometimes played by sort of historical musical ensembles who like to play music with period-appropriate instruments. Anyway, and a homophone, of course, is a word that is pronounced the same as another word, but has a different meaning. Okay, so in a jam fills that in, and then I guess this is East New York, and then here we have plan to leave at a very specific evening time. It could be split. A plan to leave could be to split, to leave, to get out. Plan to leave at a very specific evening time. Oh, this might be the first one of these that I get for a sports reason rather than getting the sort of pun version first. Although, to be fair, I needed the very specific time to get there. I was thinking very specific time, maybe there's a number involved. And then a 7-10 split in bowling is when the two sort of outermost pins are left standing. And so those are the 7 pin and the 10 pin, and they're very difficult to get in a single additional bowl. Already my knowledge is failing me again. Okay, who's talking on the phone? Who's talking on the phone? Question mark, some kind of pun. What does this mean? Who's talking on the phone? Sorry, I'm not seeing it. Personality that's hard to read. And here we have Passover in a way. Could be elide. If you elide a syllable, for instance, you sort of pass over and don't really pronounce it. I mean, this is one way that it's used. Mathematician John Forbes blank Jr. Nash. John Nash was a mathematician, right? Does that work here? Fill with joy could be elate, to fill you with joy. You're elated. And a summer shoe style, open toe shoes in summer. And orchard products could be what? Pears? Do you have pear orchards? And a rapscallion could be an imp, a sort of mischievous child. Moonlight actress Janelle Monáe, also a musician. And here we have blank chic, très chic in French. Very, I guess, sort of stylish, up to the moment maybe. Well, maybe you don't quite need that, but, stylish. Okay. What Vulcan's forge lay underneath in myth? That would be Mount Etna, I believe. And here we have a semi-aquatic creature is a newt. Do newts have efts? Their children? That came up in the crossword a couple times recently. And to sport an article of clothing, for instance, could be to wear it. And then here we have hitter. So here we have blackjack dealer and hitter. So this will probably be some kind of baseball term. And also something that could plausibly describe a blackjack dealer in a bit of a cutesy way. But I'm not going to take guesses on that just yet, so let's move along. Where subs are standard. Where subs are standard. So sub could be a submarine, it could be a submarine sandwich, for that matter. It could be a subway system. Could be substitutes. Semifinals, substitute players, I don't really know. Okay, dieted could be 8 less. A bird with an annual 18,000-mile round-trip migration. Wow, I don't know, do terns migrate 18,000 miles? I mean, I only say that because it fits here, not because I have any clue about their migratory patterns. Southern cooking staple okra. also known as ladyfingers, which came up in the crossword within the last couple days. Actor and comedian Baron Holtz. Not sure offhand, but I don't see what name this could possibly be other than Ike. And here we have it's nada to Nadal. So it's 0 in what nationality is that? Spanish, maybe? Actually, not sure. So let's move on for now. Conspiracy theory so wild that it can't be aired. It probably ends with lie because of the IE, and this is saying it's so wild that it can't be aired, so it's basically a lie. What do we have here? Back way often. Side road. I don't know why I was thinking of an entrance into a house, which isn't what you'd call a back way necessarily. You'd call that a back entrance or something. A back way is usually a kind of road. So I was just going down the wrong track entirely. I was going down the wrong road with that one. Oops. Oh, no. Sorry. Okay. Excuse me. I did it. Ta-da. I will say that eventually about this puzzle. 2020 Democratic also ran. Why can I not think of who else ran for president in 2020? I'm drawing a complete blank. This is definitely something I know, but I can't get there. That's embarrassing. Okay. Playwright who wrote, "Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything." I'm not sure offhand. C'est la vie could be, oh well, maybe. C'est la vie, which in French is that's life. Oh well, one might say. Oh, this could be George Bernard Shaw. And then do a certain developer's job. Could be code if you're a software developer. The B in its name stands for brush. Oh. Oral B? Oral brush. That's so funny. I never knew that. So Oral B is an oral hygiene brand. They make toothbrushes and things. And I never thought to consider what the B might stand for. Oral brush. That's very funny. Okay, props for majorettes. Majorettes lead parades, I suppose, or marches. They have batons. And members of a certain den. Probably ends with an S at least. To affix with a click could be to snap on with a click. And enter without permission. Maybe I have something wrong here, actually. So if this would, it could be in, something in, and a small bird could be a tit, and then members of a certain den. Scots? What is that? Maybe I do have something wrong here. What is this? A wood frog's ability to freeze itself in winter, and an octopus's ability to change color for 2. These are evolutionary adaptations, I would think. Oh, right. Is this unplayable, maybe? So wild it can't be aired. You can't play it on television. Unplayable lie. Maybe that's a golf thing? Because I know that lie can be, people say things like play it where it lies or something like that in golf. So that might be right. And actually that does make these look correct. So den could be scouts, scout den, that sounds right. And enter without permission, horn in, to barge in, I guess. Oops. So that actually all is fine. Oh, 2020 Democratic also ran Andrew Yang. Right, okay. And then orangish shade. Tangerine, maybe? Is that a color? Maybe it is. It's not a... Oh! Yes. Who is it? Rafael Nadal is a tennis player. So nada is love. 0 in tennis. The score is love. From l'œuf, the egg in French. Okay, who's talking on the phone? Why do I still not see what this is? I don't know. Personality that's hard to read. Oh, an enigma, you might refer to somebody metaphorically, or not, I don't know. You might call someone an enigma. A bed of straw, is it a pallet of straw maybe? Stirs up could be royals. And missing, it could be AWOL. Oops. What is that? Away without leave in military lingo? It's interesting that there isn't anything indicating an abbreviation or slang or something, anything like that. So let's check the crosses. Boo, say. Is that boo as in like in a stadium? Boo-boo, it's funny, is an owie, childish way. And so this happens often in the crossword. Boo-boo is certainly a sort of childish way to say an injury. And because the clue is itself a sort of childish phrase, you can probably expect the answer to also be a childish phrase. So you probably wouldn't have boo-boo resolve to injury or wound or something. It's going to resolve to something comparably childish, like owie. I don't know if that's an absolutely ironclad hard rule, but I think it's almost always the case. That sort of thing generally. Okay, joie de vivre would be joy of life or zest, maybe. And the bed of straw, maybe it is a palette. And a niche mag, a zine, right? So a zine, I wonder if people still make zines. They were, I think, had their heyday in probably the 70s to 90s, sort of hand-produced, hand-reproduced magazines. So niche mag, they were, for niche interests and audiences. And then, oh, I see. And then boo is to razz someone. To boo someone is to razz them. Okay, visually evaluate. Eye up, perhaps? And if one is out of practice, one is rusty, which is how I feel doing those Boss Words Themeless League competition puzzles. Good Lord. A one doing inside work could be a spy. Inside, I suppose, meaning covert or maybe behind enemy lines sort of thing. Okay, stick out is to jut out, and party people for short, question mark, are DJs. So people who are part of a party or help a party function, I guess. DJs. And I guess the for short is that it's DJs rather than disc jockeys. And I don't really know why that's, I guess it has the question mark indicator just to help us out a bit. I mean, I wouldn't really think you'd need that for party people personally, but it helps us know that they're being a bit cute about it. So blackjack dealer, oh, I see. Designated hitter. So, right, in a blackjack game, the dealer is the person designated to hit you, to deal you a card. And I guess that's presumably a baseball term. I mean, it must be. Okay, who's talking on the phone? Oh, I see. Siri on the iPhone, right. And then Dr. Zhivago, Yuri Zhivago, that looks right. Smear and site for some creative entrepreneurs. This could be Etsy, a site on which people sell homemade crafts and things. Creative entrepreneurs. Chain whose name derives from its founders, the Raffle brothers. Oh, right, yes. This oddly came up in the crossword. Not in the crossword, but in a comment on the crossword. RBs stands for the Raffle brothers, I think. RB for the Raffle brothers. And so it's RBs, R.B apostrophe S, and then phonetically pronounced, that's Arby's, the name of the restaurant. Repeated word in the U.S. Postal Creed. So this would be nor. It's something like neither rain, nor snow, nor sleet, nor hail, or whatever will stop the mail, something like that. Okay, product that increases volume is mousse, could increase the volume of your hair. And to smear is to daub, as in paint on a canvas. Oh, I see. And that makes subs standard at delis. And we see that subs, in this case, is an abbreviation of submarine sandwich. And so delis is also an abbreviation of delicatessen. And I think even this is pretty fitting in the sense that subs and delis are both sort of, I don't know what you'd call them, but sort of soft abbreviations in this point, in the sense that they have both overtaken the sort of unpacked full word in common language. So you'd say a sub sandwich more often than you'd say a submarine sandwich, and you'd say a deli more often than you'd say a delicatessen. So they match in that way. And I don't know that that has to be true, but it is true here. And I think that is more often than not how the crossword is clued. Anyway, let's put that in and hopefully complete the puzzle. Yes, great. So I was quite apprehensive about this crossword because of its title, Sports Nuts. And it turns out it was fair. I would say it was fair to those of us who are not so inclined towards deep sports knowledge. It was, I think Katie Hale did a very nice job, I think an excellent job, in fact, creating a bunch of theme answers that, because they're well constructed and well clued puns, essentially, are able to, with a combination of crosses and just sort of linguistic consideration, able to be solved without necessarily recognizing or knowing with any amount of deep context their sports meaning. And so let's see, we had offensive rebound, your ex's new date, floor exercise for Kegels, starting block for first score of a crossword. I don't even know what that is. I mean, I guess I don't know what some of these are. I guess I don't technically know what offensive rebound, but I can kind of guess. Floor exercise, I think, is gymnastics. Starting block, maybe is that horse racing or something? I don't know. The first square of a crossword. Service line, I'll be your waiter tonight. Maybe that's in tennis. Maybe that's sort of the line from which you must serve, perhaps. I'm not sure. Unplayable lie, that sounds definitely like golf, a ball that's not, it's landed somewhere that simply can't be played, I would think, for the wild conspiracy theory. 7-10 split, I definitely know what that is in bowling, for the plan to leave. And a designated hitter for the blackjack dealer. And this must be the person who's hitting in baseball, I would think. I don't know if there's a more specific meaning than that. Anyway, well done, Katie Hale. That was great. I honestly was quite worried about it, and it turned out to be totally fine through some very nice construction of the clues, I suppose. So, well, the clues and also picking sports phrase, finding a whole bevy of sports phrases that allow themselves this sort of reinterpretation. So how many of them were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think, unless I missed one. Yeah, so a very fun Sunday puzzle. And I think also, at least for me, and obviously this difficulty of any given crossword puzzle differs enormously among solvers. There are times I find things very difficult that I'm sure you're yelling at me through the screen, and times when some things just sort of strike, mesh well with the knowledge I happen to have. In this case, for me, I found this to be a pretty smooth solving puzzle overall, which I suppose was additionally helpful in getting these double duty theme answers. So I thought a very fun puzzle. Didn't feel like a slog in the way that Sundays honestly sometimes can. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments how you fared with this puzzle. I'm curious to know, especially those of you who are much more sport aware. I'm wondering if you blazed through these much more quickly than I did. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the video as well as the puzzle, and if so, please do subscribe to the channel so you will see notifications of these as they go up each day. And, or I think you can choose not to be notified, but either way, you'll have easier access to this channel. Who wouldn't want that? And if you think you have a friend who might like easy access to this channel, pass it along. Maybe they would like this sort of thing, or simply let your internet environment know, wherever it is you spend time on the internet, social networks, and so forth. Let them know. I can be found on the internet at The Daily Solve on Twitter, and also there's a Facebook page where notifications go up each day as well, if you search for The Daily Solve on Facebook. And there's links to both of these underneath the video. Finally, if you are interested in helping support this channel, making it a sustainable enterprise for me going forward, consider contributing to the Patreon campaign. If you become a Patreon supporter, you will get access to a whole slew of bonus solves, which I post regularly on there. And as I said at the beginning of the puzzle, at the beginning of the solve, just yesterday, I posted the most recent Boswords Fall Themeless Competition puzzle, which is a tricky puzzle clued to be more difficult than a New York Times Saturday. I certainly found it more difficult than a New York Times Saturday, but like I said, some people do seem to find it instructive to see me really have to push against those. And that's up there, as well as plenty of other things that you can discover at patreon.com/dailysolve, as well as various other benefits. Enhanced access to the Discord chat server, which is free to join, but you get additional access with the Patreon campaign, and an exclusive mug at one of the tiers, which is whose design is being voted on as we speak by patrons. All right, that was a lot. I will move on. I want to particularly thank a few people who are patrons of the channel through the Patreon campaign. And today, the people I would like to thank are Jordan Larson, Shantanu Bhatia, and Hood Monster. So thank you so much, Jordan, Shantanu, and Hood Monster, for your ongoing generous support, keeping this thing going. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone else who has backed the Patreon campaign. And thank you to you, that I should say, for watching this video, for making it all the way to the end of this long Sunday solve. I hope you'll be back tomorrow for the Monday crossword. A little bit, well, not a little bit, it should be considerably easier. It's the easiest puzzle of the week, a good way to ease into a Monday morning, I would say. I always enjoy it. So I hope you're back for that. But until that point, please do have an excellent remainder of your Sunday. Take care.